top, alright? We're going to be very comprehensive about this. Now, I want you guys to remember that this is a whole body thing, so we want to make sure you use your whole body for this, alright? You're going to be using all sorts of motions. You're using your legs, your back, every single muscle. But we're going to try not to use too much arm muscle, because that's one of the smaller muscle groups. But we're going to try to use everything. Now, one of the things you're going to start doing is you're going to start, it's how you're seated. You want to make sure you position yourself in the boat properly. Now, when you sit in the boat, you're going to sit with your hip against the side, and you're going to make sure you anchor yourself down. You'll see in each of these seating positions, you'll see places where you can anchor your feet down underneath. By the lake, we're going to be using wood boats. The wood boats will also have runners along the side and up and down where you can brace yourself against the boat. And it's very important that you brace yourself so you can lean forward when you reach, and when you push back, when you pull, you want to be able to straighten out and you don't want to fall back. So you want to make sure you anchor yourself down. Okay, you want to make sure you're very solid in the boat so you can move back and forth without falling. Okay, that's very important. Alright, so I'm anchored in, my hips against the side. Now how you hold the paddle is you keep a very relaxed grip, thumb around, and you're going to grip over here near the base, okay? When you hold the paddle, you don't want this hand over here. They're different length paddles. You don't want it over your head like that. That'll be too long. You want it around here, so you have good control over the paddle when you pull, okay? So I'm holding the paddle loosely, thumb around the handle. I want to keep this as vertical as possible in the water, because what you want to do is you want to maximize the amount of water you're pulling. You want the whole face of the paddle in the water. If you're out at the side like that, this volume, you're not pulling anything over here. If I pull like that, I'm not pulling as much water. If I have it down like this, I'm moving significantly more water. So you want it vertical in the water. This outside hand, this is my outside hand, this is my inside hand. I'm going to keep my inside hand over this edge. It's going to be always over the water to make sure this paddle is in the vertical position. The face of the paddle, I want to make sure that's perpendicular to the direction I'm traveling. I want this straight in like that. I don't want it in like this. I don't want it out like that. That's controlled with this hand. This hand judges which way that face is moving. So I want to make sure I keep that control like that. I want this to be pulling as much water as possible, so I want that straight in. Okay? But my hands are always relaxed. I keep this as relaxed as possible when I pull. So, the actual stroke. So, again, this is a whole body thing. When I reach forward, I'm twisting my torso, my legs are locked down, I'm twisting at the waist, I'm reaching forward as much as I can comfortably, bending forward, reaching as much as I can. Now if I don't do any of that, I'm just pulling this much. If I add that reach, I get that much more water. So I'm gonna stretch, I'm gonna rotate, and I'm gonna pull back. When I pull back, what I do is I straighten out my body. I de-twist, I pull with my lower back muscles, I'm straightening out my arms, right? And I'm pulling back, my arm is straight. I don't want to use too much of my bicep muscles because that's a weaker muscle group. And that'll tire your arm out really fast. We use my larger muscle groups in the back, and when I straighten out my torso, I'm using my larger muscle groups, pulling back. This hand just guides. This hand doesn't do much. It pushes down a little, and it guides and makes sure that paddle is in the right orientation, but doesn't do much in itself. This hand just provides enough grip just to pull back. I'm not clenching down. I don't want to waste energy. I don't want to tire out my forearms, because after a race, your forearms are going to be really tired and tight. You don't want to waste extra energy. You want to use all your energy you can towards paddling and keeping up your endurance. So I basically have it hooked around the paddle. I'm not doing a death grip on either hand. When I pull up, my hands are relaxed. When I pull back, I just cinch it around enough that I can pull the paddle back and maintain my grip. Nothing much more than that. Now the recovery. So we do a stroke. The recovery, we want the recovery nice and fast. Back up to the start position. Now the actual step-by-step, what I do is, at the end of my stroke, the stroke ends right when your arm is practically vertical. After that, it's just a follow-through. You let it carry back a little bit, and then I pull out with my thumb, I slide it out. I shouldn't feel any resistance with my outside hand. I shouldn't feel any resistance with this hand, very little. It's just guiding the paddle out. I pull it out with my thumb essentially, and I position myself as fast as I can, back up to the start position, and I start again. Alright, that's a basic stroke. Using your whole body, a fast recovery, you're pulling as much water as you can, you're using your larger muscle groups, quick recovery, back up to the start. You take your time with the stroke. You want to pull water, you don't want to rush it. So you want your stroke to essentially look like this. Nice guided, relaxed upper hand, reach, and you straighten out. You're twisting your torso, this, you're using your legs, you're using your torso, you're using as much as you can. Except for the arms, because that's a smaller muscle group. Okay? So, out, relax your hands, pulling back, you straighten out your muscles, you rotate, straighten out. We like to say, you sit up, because that's basically what it's like. You reach forward, and then you sit up. When you sit up, you straighten out your back muscles. And you naturally come up to your finishing position. And then you guide it up to the start again. Nice and fast though. Get nice and fast back up to the start position. And do a stroke. You don't want to be sloppy with your stroke. You don't want to be like, you don't want your paddle oriented in the wrong direction. You want nice and perpendicular to water. Nice pull back. Okay? So that's essentially it. Everybody see that? So we're going to be practicing this today. Alright?